So, our next topic is non-competition agreement, customer list, copyright, and franchises. Kapag sinabi nating non-competition agreement, it is a contract under which one party agrees in exchange for a consideration not to pursue a similar trade in competition against another party. The consideration paid in a non-competition agreement is amortized over the period the contract remains enforceable. Okay? Next, customer list. The cost of purchase customer list includes the purchase price and any directly attributable cost. So, makakapitalize ba ang ating customer list? Tatlong items yung kailangan nating tandaan. Dapat, una, purchase. At kung purchase man, ang kasali ay purchase price at directly attributable cost. Tapos, ma-amortize siya sa kanyang useful life. Okay? So, kapag internally generated customer list, it is always expense. And yung ating subsequent expenditures for customer list, expense ulit. Okay? So we have an example here. So, customer illustration, customer list. On January 1, 20X1, ABC Company purchased a customer list of a large distributor of health products for 45,000. Okay, purchase, so pwedeng i-capitalize. 3-year na period. So ano yung kanyang journal entry? Debit, customer list, credit, cash. 45,000. And then, every year, debit, amortization expense, credit, accumulated, amortization. 45,000 divided by 3. That would be 15,000 per year. Copyright. It's a government-granted right that all authors, painters, musicians, sculptors, and other artists have their creations and expression. It gives the owner the exclusive right to reproduce and sell an artistic or published work. Kaya naman, kailan daw, ano yung kanyang useful life? Equal to the lifetime of the creator. So, kailan man siya namatay, plus 50 years after his death. Ganon katagal yung ating copyright. Okay. And the cost of copyright is amortized over its useful life. If the useful life of the copyright cannot be determined reliably, the cost of copyright is expensed against the revenue from the first publication of the copyrighted material. This is very important. Ano? So, kapag yung ating useful life hindi ma-determine, buo, it would be expensed. The moment na meron tayong first publication. But by default, it is the lifetime of the creator plus 50 years. Isa to sa mga items na mahilig na ibigay sa theory. Next, franchise. It's a contractual arrangement under which the franchisor grants the franchisee the right to sell certain products or services, to use certain trademarks or trade names, or to perform certain functions, usually within a designated geographical areas. Ayan. So we have two types, between two private entities or between a private entity or an individual and the government. Ayan. So pwede daw definite period of time or indefinite period. Okay? All right. So the cost of a franchise with a finite useful life is amortized over its useful life. But the cost of a franchise with an indefinite useful life is not amortized but rather tested for impairment at least annually. Okay, let's move forward. The cost of franchise includes the lump sum acquisition cost and nasanay na kayo dito, no? Directly attributable costs. Subsequent expenditures such as annual payments made under a franchise agreement are recognized as expense. In the period, they are incurred. These payments do not qualify as intangible assets because they are incurred primarily to maintain the use of the property. So once again, kapag subsequent expenditures, ang pinaka-common na example niyan ay yung ating periodic franchise fee. Never po yan na makakapitalize. Ano lang yung makakapitalize? Yung una, acquisition cost, the initial franchise fee, at yung unang directly attributable cost. Lahat ng kasunod, expense. So let's have a few illustrations here. On January 1, 20X1, ABC Company acquired a franchise from Mang Jolly for 100,000. The franchise gives ABC the right to sell Mang Jolly products until December 31, 20X5. So we have 5 years. Sulat natin. 5 years useful life. Okay. Tapos sinabi na rin niya, no? Is typo 15,000. Yan yung kanyang periodic franchise fee. So how do we account for that? First, on January 1, debit, franchise, intangible asset, credit, cash for the initial franchise fee of 100,000. Second, at the end of the year, we debit the amortization expense and credit the accumulated amortization. Of how much? 100,000 divided by 5. So 20,000 per year. Next, we have our periodic franchise fee. Again, that is not capitalized. Diretsong franchise expense, hindi nga pasok sa amortization, di ba? Iba yung account title niya. It's a different title, straightforward franchise expense, credit cash for 15,000. Kaya pag tinanong magkano yung amortization expense, yung 20,000 lang. Pag tinanong magkano yung total franchise-related expense, 20 plus 15. Okay? So careful kayo dito sa pag-compute ng ating franchises. No? Illustration number 2. This time, meron tayong indefinite useful life. Indefinite period. Okay, so how do we account for that? Meron tayong 100,000 na payment at meron tayong 5 equal annual payments of 20 starting on the first day. So kapag ganyan, 5 equal annual payments starting on the first day, we would use a present value factor. Specifically, PV annuity due. The rate is found at the next sentence, 10%. And the period, 5 equal payments of 5. So the factor would be, if you look at the amortization or the present value table, you should say, that would be 4.17. Multiplied by the 20,000 periodic payment, the present value of notes payable would be 83,400. The down payment is 100,000. So the value of our franchise is 183,400. Okay. So no amortization ha, kasi indefinite period. Lagay natin dito sa taas, no amo. Ayan, no amortization. Tapos meron ulit tayong periodic franchise fee. So ano yung mga entries natin ng 20x1? Una, 11x1. Para hindi magulo, i-debit natin yung ating franchise straightforward na. Na-compute naman na natin kanina. So 183,400, hindi na natin siya i-squeeze. We already solved for it on the side. We will credit cash. That would be 100,000. And we will credit notes payable. Its gross amount is 20,000 times 5 payments. Correct? So that's 100,000. But then we have a discount on notes payable to balance it out. Kung ang ating gross ay 100,000 at yung ating discount ay 83,400, the debit for the discount would be 16,600. And you can confirm this by adding the left and the right side. They are balanced. Another entry, since this is annuity due, we also paid aside from the down payment, right? Aside from the 100K down payment, meron na yung pauna nating 20. So debit, notes payable, credit, cash. Amounting to 20,000. Okay, ano yung entries natin ng 1231? Una, no amortization lagay natin. Para lang ma-emphasize. Pangalawa, yung ating periodic payment. So dapat magde-debit tayo ng franchise expense and credit cash for 50,000. And the third one is to update the discount, right? Debit interest expense, credit discount on notes payable. Okay, paano natin makukompute yan? Initially, we started with 83,400. We had a down payment of 20,000. So that's 63,400. The rate is 10%. So that would be 634. 634. For our final example, magkano daw yung amortization expense to be recognized? We read through the problem. Sabi niya, the license may be renewed indefinitely at a little cost. Okay, tapos intends to renew the license indefinitely. Therefore, we have an indefinite useful life. Indefinite useful life equals no amortization expense. So once again, kapag franchise, yung initial franchise fee lang yung ating pwedeng i-capitalize. Diba? Yung ating down payment or acquisition cost and our directly attributable cost. Lahat na ng subsequent expenditure and yung ating periodic franchise fee would be expense. See you on our next video. We're almost done. Kapit lang. Bye-bye.